get sworn in next week.
Man.
19th. You get sworn in City Hall 5 p.m. It's open to the public, and they're serving everyone cake if you want to come.
Man. We go down there and see what's our friend's name?
Episode 89 of Jabber Jawn, the show the critics never mention in their best of the year lists. I think that is mostly because they haven't seen the show because we are up against Full House and the Gilmore Girls with our time slot. Undaunted by that, we continue to bring you good home-cooked conversation about subjects you never thought you'd actually sit and listen to grown men discuss. Believe me when I say we never thought we'd discuss most of this stuff either. In honor of the holiday spirit, we will sit completely still for 10 seconds to allow you to take a photo of your screen and digitally add yourself to the studio as either a guest, writer or valued sponsor. And if you pledge $1 billion, we'll let you make a big a mess of the set as you desire. Join us tonight and send in your thoughts and words of wisdom. I still am so impressed with the guy who cooks gummies over a campfire and eats them. That's the kind of information we want to hear about. Have a wonderful Thursday and hope to see you there in the crowd. This one's for you.
Three little frogs sitting on a log. One of them fell in. One frog said to the other frog, well, you better go get her. Two little frogs sitting on a log. One of them fell in. Last little frog, he sat and thought, good thing they can swim. Jabber Jawn, Jabber Jawn, Jabber Jawn, Jabber Jawn. Three little frogs sitting on a log. One burst into a grin. One frog said to the other frog, wonder what's got into him. Two little frogs sitting on a log. One laughed until he is red. Last little frog, he sat and thought, must have been something I said. Jabber Jawn, Jabber Jawn, Jabber Jawn, Jabber Jawn.
Oh my goodness, and we are live. Welcome to Jabber Jawn, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Nathan Moore.
I'm Kyle Hogg.
I'm Steve Moore. I'm on tape delay.
You're on tape delay, so we can censor you.
Time delay.
Yeah, that's so we can bleep out all your profanities.
3-second rule for him over there.
That was what I was wondering.
3-second rule.
Is shit bad to say on the radio like we are?
You know, times have changed. If you'd asked me that 7-8 years ago, I would have said, yeah, it's completely inappropriate. Nowadays, I don't know.
It's a new administration, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a whole new world. It's a whole new world.
Well, good.
You wanted to say that word for years now. Now no one gives a shit.
He's so tired of saying I have to poop.
What did he just say?
He's tired of saying I have to poop. It doesn't ring true, does it? But do you? Do you really?
Yeah,
It doesn't sound like you do.
Yeah.
If you're using the word poop, you can wait a couple of more hours. You can wait till you get home if you just have to poop.
Oh,
If you're
Lord.
gonna shit, I'll pull over right now.
Okay. This got out of control in a
Oh my
hurry,
goodness!
didn't it?
All the blood just rushed to my face.
I didn't even expect that to happen.
So yeah, you can say it.
All right.
driving song. You think that you've seen everything, gone everywhere. Now nothing could surprise you. Not anymore. So you tumble through the night until you pull the curtain tight with the wide world right outside your door. Don't you know it's not right that they don't get to see your shining eyes, although they closed, you do not hide. I see you, good morning, rise. Now you talk about when you think about the past, you crawl through the looking glass that is shattered, scattered on the floor. Who you trying to please down on your bloody knees? We need you to believe like before. Don't you know it's not right that they don't get to see your shining eyes, although they closed, you do not hide. I see you, good morning, rise. Talk about shame like it's some lion you can't tame, like it's a flame you can't extinguish but won't burn. It's a shame you can't pretend to start over again. This time through, just think, my friend, of all you've learned. Don't you know it's not right that they don't get to see your shining eyes, although they close, you do not hide. I see you, good morning, rise.
Great.
Thank you.
Oh, we got romance in the house.
Yeah, baby.
Wow.
Ooh, that was powerful.
Oh, thank you.
Gosh, that's the exact word I was going to say. Powerful.
Took me somewhere.
Oh, good.
Wow.
Yeah, that was good. That was really good.
It's all downhill from here, so hold on.
And that's a good way to be. You know?
That's right. Can't tell if the chats are working yet. If anybody is on YouTube, say something in the chat. I'm afraid they might not be working. Which makes me so sad when the chats don't work.
Oh, Brenda shipped in.
She's in the Discord,
Oh,
so that doesn't quite.
Brenda, you're the
count.
Discordian. Wow.
So, finally allowed to talk about something that I've wanted to talk about for a long time now, and can finally let the cat out of the bag. I think that you guys would like to know this, but my wife and I have been actively working with the CIA for the last 8 years. We are covert agents assigned to Stanton. And our tour finally, our time just ended a couple of weeks ago. We're officially retired from the service.
You get a pension?
Oh yeah, great package. So, any questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, one more song I did.
So, how long have you been doing this?
Well, you know, I actually met Cathara. We always made up this story about how we met at a Brian Elijah Smith show at the Pompeii, but we actually met at Quantico in training.
Oh.
And we were assigned as partners, but fell madly in love
Was
during the
that the
process.
Quantico? Was that up there where had to drive up there and get you out of jail?
Exactly, that was part of the
That
cover
was
story.
part of the cover
It was
story.
part of the
wasn't
cover.
it?
Yeah.
I knew there was something
had to-
fishy when that lawyer didn't have to pay him as much as I thought it would.
It's like, no, sir, it's covered.
we got this.
I lost the check. I usually don't pay for a while.
Yeah, I had to do a little time just to make some certain connections, get a little street cred.
Well, I guess my next question is, why are you telling us now?
Well, it's been driving me crazy not living this secret life, but we weren't allowed to talk about it. But now that we've retired, now that our mission's over, I could write a book about it now if I wanted to.
Okay.
No, were you able to retire because they have those 6 cameras up now downtown?
That was right.
You had
Yeah, AI.
You had kept it on. You don't have to sit on the porch.
I'm
and watch
another
the
displaced
license
worker.
plates
AI.
go.
I'm another displaced worker thanks to AI.
Watch Nathan always standing on the corner looking at the license plates go by.
So that's how you got phased out.
That's right.
It happened a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I see. Well, that does change what I was going to get you for Christmas.
Oh wait, I see a YouTube comment. Yes.
I'm trapped.
All right, welcome to the show. We're all together. We are hanging
don't know
out. What
what's
do y'all
going
want to
on.
talk about? Now there are, don't ask me too many questions about our time in the CIA. That is, there is more that I'm not allowed to talk about than I am. I just don't need to keep that part of our lives a complete
Now,
secret
are you
anymore.
telling this to with your people at night in that show, or have you let them in on this?
No,
or-
this is the first I've talked about it in public.
But you will now be out there.
Now I'm free to, yeah.
So I
exactly.
imagine the Stanton Leader will do a paper article on you.
I would have. Does the Stanton Leader still exist?
Well, that's what I was thinking. I don't really think they do articles.
Where's their home branch now? Ohio or something?
It's,
Stan Leader will be full of misprints. Ethan Moore has retired from the FBI. Like, why? No, that's not true.
I remember when the Stanton Leader they did come here and interview me once. They were doing a whole, one of the reporters was doing a series on late night night owls in Stanton, like people
that's
that
cool.
people, whether you're a night shift employee and I got on their radar because I was doing my American Night Owl show. So the reporter came to one of my American Night Owl sessions or whatever, one of my live streams, and just observed.
Oh, very cool.
It was very interesting. Should have saved that. I don't know if we even saved that.
Was that Fred Pfister?
Do you remember that?
kind of.
I knew FP.
Didn't he sort
It
of do
wasn't him.
articles like that?
Well, he was like the
He interviewed,
daily column,
Yeah, he interviewed me back when I
editorial,
did Bold Print.
but random,
Yeah, his
super
thoughts of the day or whatever.
left field. That's the kind of you could have had that He should have passed you the
I
torch.
know, I should have.
A daily, but I don't even know if the Stanton Leader does things like that anymore.
No.
I feel like that, like that's one of the many straws that's on the camel who's now just collapsed on the ground with his broken back of the of especially like rural American stuff like that, feeling even like the whole is, even though it gets ridiculous, the idea that the media is all liberal and stuff like that, like a lot of that comes from facts. Like the Stanton Leader, our local newspaper, is no longer just being made right downtown. It's from some big city somewhere, somewhere out of state, is delivering us our local newspaper, and that's it's just one of the many straws that leads to people feeling like that, like they've lost their voice or their representation, and it's
Well, not only thought they had, but in
Action.
truth they are
Right.
actually. We are losing that's a form of communication that we've lost, with nothing good gained from it, from losing it.
You're right. Nothing to replace
What
it.
what replaced it was not the same thing.
Was next door or Facebook. Or
Yeah. Yeah, of course, the other side of that is that you only learned what was available in that area, where right now a mind is wide open. So for many areas, like in populated areas or unpopulated areas that get Wi-Fi and it can get internet, now those children can learn on the same level as everybody else.
That's a very good point.
That's the good part. That's a good side of it.
Mm-hmm.
It levels the playing field,
Right.
and that's a good thing overall.
Yeah, you can't underestimate the power of that.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta say, I've grown to the point already where I use ChatGPT for all my Googling. Like if you Google something like what I'm trying to think of a good example of a question. Like if I was to Google
How is
what
paint made?
well, I'm thinking of something like a little bit more like I don't know. Where was John Lennon when he wrote Imagine or something like that? If I Google that, I'm going to get a bunch of websites that have John Lennon, Imagine, whatever, and then I have to click on each website, deep dive, go down through the text, try to find if they mention that, maybe search the page for all that kind of. So it takes for. Whereas ChatGPT, if I say where did John Lennon write Imagine, it's going to immediately read every website and tell you the answer.
Wow.
Well, that's a much better idea.
It's. I mean, once you really get over there, like you don't
So
you don't go.
I never heard of this.
Oh, it's artificial intelligence. It's
But
like
it's
one
like
of the most.
Is it an app?
Mm-hmm. Well,
So could you put it on my phone?
Mm-hmm.
And
You
I
have to
could-
pay for it. Don't,
There's
there's a free version.
There's some freeness too. Yeah.
Well, that's another thing I have on the list for you to take care of, helping me do when you come over.
Fun to play with.
It's
So I would like,
I'm already. I mean,
I hear you. I'd like to be able to do it more succinctly
Mm-hmm.
than I am now. 'Cause I don't have that much time left to do this damn research. I just need to know
You
it.
just need to know it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, back when you were younger, the long form of the research is good because you wind up going down little alleyways you weren't even intending
Well, it's
to
good
venture
for your
down.
brain's neural development. I'm heading the other way
But
with
this is
those.
the shortest distance between 2 points.
We're
Yeah.
throwing neurons out every day.
I had a very strange Google experience last night. We were listening to some Christmas music, and it was some Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong singing together. And I was wondering if they were like contemporaries, like if they were born about the
Who
same.
was it?
Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong.
They were.
And so
the
I
same
Googled it,
ballpark.
and he was 1901, she was 1916 or something.
Yeah.
But when I Googled Ella Fitzgerald, so people also ask, when did Ella Fitzgerald come out? And I thought, come out. Like, I thought it was like, said she was, proclaimed she was a lesbian or something. Then there was 2 other questions, and then the 4th question was, how many people died on Ella Fitzgerald? And I was like, how many people died on Ella Fitzgerald? What in the world? It's like,
in the world?
hey, you don't want to lay on top of Ella Fitzgerald, you'd be dead. So I clicked on it. When I clicked on when did she come out, it was like, when did she have her first hit, which I thought was a weird way of saying it.
That is a weird way of
So when I clicked, how many people?
That's AI.
Well, that's breakout.
Yeah. So when I put how many people died on Ella Fitzgerald, it was the name of a ship that sunk, and 29 people died. But I just read it. I was like, how many people
Edmund
died?
Fitzgerald.
That's the Edmund
No,
Fitzgerald.
it was the Ella Fitzgerald. It really was.
No.
That's what it
Well,
said.
that's what the AI thought it was.
But I
No.
busted out laughing. Like, I thought it was like, man,
Is
stay away
Ella
from Ella on
Fitzgerald
tour.
the name of a ship? No, Ella Fitzgerald is not the name of a ship.
But that brings up like AI does get things kind of weird like that sometimes. It'll.
But you're
get
talking
things
about
that little-
Google, right?
Yeah.
But was it the little AI at the top of Google that they have now? Because
I don't
Google's
know.
trying to incorporate this stuff to where it'll give you an AI answer first, and then underneath it is all the websites that hits. So it like sort of paraphrases an answer at the top of the page.
I just love that both of y'all are such Gordon Lightfoot fans, though, that you burst out with that. That's the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Absolutely.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, 29
Very
people.
good.
29 people died.
On the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Well, this thing said on the Ella Fitzgerald.
Now
That was
there's
a-
30 because one of them she fell on before
died under
it
her.
went down. In fact, she's why it went down. She was riding it.
Well, that was a
So that's what I heard now. That's just talk on the street.
It's pretty. Speaking of the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, just think about a time in a culture where that song could have been as popular as it was. That was a very popular song.
Yeah, I never got it.
And it's long-winded. It's a long story. It's
Boring
slow.
story.
It,
Doesn't turn out well for anybody.
the song does have a vibe, though.
But it has a sound to it.
It does have a sound to
It's like
it.
a dirge. That's my word.
That is your word of the day. What is a dirge?
I think it's a funeral song. It's a
There-
quiet song. I mean, it doesn't have to be you're dead now. I mean, yeah, it could be just a peaceful cell. I think a dirge can be a lot of different things. Yeah, but not up tempo and jazzy and dancey.
Tomorrow night at Ciders from Mars, they're having a band playing old dirges and pub songs and stuff.
There you go.
What a request of
Who is it?
Oh, what
They're,
is it?
they're using the word dirges?
I think that was in the description. Yeah. God, now I can't think of the box. Well, it's what's his face's band.
You see what?
Not many people claim to do dirges anymore.
Boxcar Speakeasy?
Yeah, they're them, and I forget what the band that's doing the dirges and pub songs. Yeah.
Where are they?
What is a
At
dirge?
Ciders from Mars downtown.
What is a dirge?
A mournful song, isn't it?
A dirge is a mournful song, poem, or piece of music, typically performed at a funeral or memorial service. It expresses sorrow, grief, or lamentation, often to honor the deceased. Dirges are slow and somber in tone, evoking a sense of loss and reflection.
He's so upbeat with his
That's
answer.
what I was thinking.
A
God,
dirge.
great.
Well,
A dirge.
I'm glad you asked.
I've been waiting for somebody to ask me that.
I didn't wait too much about this topic.
How much time do you have? Where do you live? I'll be right over. I read the stamp. You stamp late. I'll be there soon.
Next level. Holy moly.
Oh,
Wow.
I'm getting a tummy ache.
I like the.
I was thinking the same thing. Dirges. Oh my God.
Glad you asked.
I've been sitting here all day waiting for somebody to ask me about dirges. The kids don't even care about dirges anymore.
That's right. Here, I thought I was never going to be able to use this.
It took a CIA man to ask me that question about the.
Oh, man.
He used to go to funerals just to hear the dirges.
That's right.
That's what I
Sit
heard.
in the back. How did you know the deceased?
He just slip out after the dirges.
Is that the end of the dirges? All right. You hear the door creaking open.
Oh, my goodness.
Why you leaving? I got to shit.
Come on. Come on. That's not right.
Oh, man.
Oh, I hurt myself again.
All right, commercial break. Commercial break. Go to commercial.
Oh,
We'll be right back. Oh, we're still here.
has anybody got a depressant?
Ooh, I can sing a dirge.
Well, he seems to have died laughing. What was happening when he died? Well, we were all singing dirges.
What are some famous dirges?
I've never
Anybody have a
heard-
guess?
I've never heard a dirge I didn't like.
stand out across various traditions and genres. 1. Funeral March by Frédéric Chopin. This iconic piano piece from Chopin's Piano Sonata Number 2 is one of the most well-known dirges, often played at funerals. 2. O Death, traditional. A haunting folk
Death.
dirge made famous by Ralph Stanley in Oh Brother, Where Art
Oh,
Thou?
wow.
It reflects
Ooh,
on mortality
yeah.
Virginia
and the
boy.
afterlife. 3. Danny Boy, traditional Irish. While not strictly a dirge, this melancholy tune is often used at funerals to convey deep emotion and farewell.
Danny Boy, how does that go? Amazing Grace is considered a
Danny
dirge.
boy, your pipes, the pipes are calling.
Very good.
Ooh, when the Saints go marching in. I always think of that as a party tune.
Well,
Right?
I mean, with the death parades
Yeah.
in New Orleans.
Well, you know, some funerals have a celebratory. When I think of that, I thought of New Orleans.
That's exactly
where
right.
You celebrate.
Second
You
line.
more celebrate the funerals, more of a celebration.
Mm-hmm.
A dirge would have a beat or two to it.
Oh, New Orleans. Might have to go down there and visit. Liz Bunny's has a place in New Orleans. We could all stay.
Thinking about her the other day. She's a nice person.
Mm-hmm. Still is.
Oh yeah. Well, I hope you're out there.
I see you brought your book. You got something for us?
Well, I had some stuff for us, but I'm forgetting a lot these days. So I thought, in case I forgot what I was going to tell you. I have one without opening the book, but I have the book, and I could flip through and see some of the weird things I've been thinking lately. But here's an idea for a show. It ties into several things.
Is his mic okay?
Is mom all right?
That's just, yeah, he says you sound okay. It looks like it's flopped over to the side.
Oh,
It's flop, but it's amazingly okay.
Okay. Well, I have two things. One of them's longer. Let me do the short one.
Okay,
It's not
start there.
eyes and sight. I was thinking of an experiment. I was thinking about my vision. I'm blind in this eye.
Completely?
Yes, I don't see a thing.
Wow. So if you close your right eye, you don't see anything.
Nothing. I'm blind.
Wow.
And that's been like that for 10 years. What I don't know is...
You've been blind in your left eye for 10 years, and I'm like, wow, really?
Yeah, that's it.
That's
Yeah,
sad. I'm sure you told me that before, but I got early onset over here.
Yeah. Actually, you were out of town when it happened, so... but it happened very quickly, glaucoma. I just didn't go to the doctor soon enough to catch it. At any rate, the experiment is we could do it here, I think. But what I don't know is when I'm out there and I look at someone, or is this eye always doing what this eye does, or does this eye sometimes decide to do what it wants to do?
Independent.
'Cause I've really been suspicious about this part of my brain, because the occipital part of your brain, for each eye, is a fairly little good mass of country. I mean, it's like Australia, as far as brain material. So I want to know what's going on in there, and I don't really trust them because they've been operating, taking food, operating, and not recording any information for a long time. Now, I don't blame them, but I want to know what they're up to. Well, part of that goes back to this experiment. I don't know if my eye and this eye, in other words, this eye wants to, if I want to look over there, I move this eye. Does this eye automatically follow?
It does seem to.
Yeah.
That's what see how
Let's do like the doctors
you could do it with a light.
Well, follow my finger.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, completely in sync.
But it's also rotating like a wheel while it does.
It's spinning its wheels.
It goes.
That's so mean.
It goes perfect.
Yeah, perfectly in sync.
Well, isn't that interesting? How there's still a lot going on together, and I'm wondering if my right eye, if they talk to each other, and if that part of my brain is actually seeing more with the data or processing more. And
Well, how do you move your eyes? Is it a muscle? How do
the
you?
muscles will move it, contraction, either way. It's all, so it's brain sending a message to your muscles to twitch, and that sends that.
One thing I've marveled at so many times, it just happened the other night. I was frying up that trout from Danny Morris. We had that last night. It was delicious. Remind me to ask you another question about the trout here in a second. But first off, I'm frying it up, and there was a grease splatter, and this little piece of grease shoots out, and it's going right for my eye. And our blinking reflex is unbelievable. It's miraculous how, and I've felt this weed whacking too. There's been a couple of times where and this is stuff coming, like a grease splatter is super fast. I mean, it is, and it's coming right for your eye, but your eye just, the reflexes are just so astounding. It's unbelievable. But I'm thinking, if that grease was shooting for your left eye,
I got you.
it probably would have just hit it.
Well, no, I think my right eye would have seen it and reacted maybe,
On
but
behalf.
Oh wow.
not as quickly, but it would have actually said shut. So there's another part of my brain, because I can shut my eyes.
Yeah.
I can't see, but I can shut my eyes. So obviously, if I can do it voluntarily, I can do it involuntarily. So it would blink the same. And just like if I get a bug or something in this eye, it'll blink to clear it. So it's still working. It's just that the neurons from the messages coming in never make it to my brain, because that nerve died.
So that's on the back of the eye.
Right.
Is where the
Yeah,
so I was thinking of glaucoma as being like a film or something over the front of the eye, but it's not.
No, it's a pressure buildup is what causes glaucoma. I think most of the times.
What's the pressure from?
Well, just your blood. You can get high blood pressure, but you can also get just maybe something's not working up there that controls the pressure. I don't know. I don't know what was doing it, because it was pretty young, but things sometimes stop working. Sometimes it's chemical and sometimes it's physical.
But if you had caught it in time, you maybe could have stopped it.
Yeah, I think so. I think they catch it early enough.
So what was that? You knew something was up, but you didn't want to.
Well, I changed eye doctors, and I used to go pretty regularly, but when the one I liked and knew left, the guy that took his place was a jerk, and I just didn't go back. So.
I'd rather go blind than.
Well, I'm not saying that was an intelligent thing to behave, but it was just a lazy way of doing it. But and it did sneak up on me though.
So is your left lens, is it just a piece of glass or does it have a prescription in it?
No, it's just my regular eye. They haven't done anything. It's never been worked on or anything.
No, but for your glasses.
Oh,
Like, is that just a piece
I
of
tried to get them
glass?
to give me half price because they only have to do one lens, and they wouldn't do that. Kind of pissed me off.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the way. These people got to make their money. But I don't know. But yeah, it doesn't really matter what's over here. You'll see my sunglasses, for instance. You see the one side is clean, and the other side will have dirt and blood and everything on it. And it doesn't matter. So it's because when I wipe my glasses, I only wipe one lens.
Now, y'all are making me nervous because I'm trying to remember to remind you both. You had a second story and you had a second question about trout. Or
My second question
Good.
about the trout is any tips or tricks in terms of dealing with the bones? I know the butter bread, like that's pretty important, right? Like a piece of soft bread with.
Well, that helps when you're chewing. I mean, you know how to get the bones out. So you're talking about the loose one. That
Right.
Well, you shouldn't get too many if it's cooked well and it comes off good. But if you get one, I think they're just usually that soft, and if you feel them, you just, in other words, you need to chew more.
Mm.
And the bread's where that comes in too. You put the fish on the bread, and then you chew that up like a little sandwich, and that's when you run across the bones. You can just feel them before it, and then you just pull them out and flip them at your date.
Did Nana eat trout?
Oh yeah.
Because I know she was real particular with her food. I didn't know how she was about like.
She fixed them so many of those.
I know
meals.
she fixed them a million times.
No,
I was wondering how she dealt
No,
with them.
she ate them just like we did. Everybody loved them. Mom all ate them. We all ate trout, and that's why Claude went.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was it was like a game, and he liked getting away, and he liked being in the woods, but he also liked bringing home a meal.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
So back then you could keep 8. I think it's like 5 though, maybe 6, but you'd bring home 8 trout. So when I was 9 years old, that meant he could take home 16.
Right. Yeah, you bring the kid with you.
You got the
Double
kid.
your limit.
We'd be out at Elkhorn,
Your whole days.
pull one in, and said, "Son, you just caught you a nice one there. That's a good job, everybody."
Sweet.
now, do either one of you have a favorite side or sides for when you're eating trout?
Good question.
A side dish, you said. Oh yeah, fried potatoes and onions.
Fried potatoes, the classic. And onions,
Yeah, hot, just real crispy fried. I can't ever get mine crispy enough. I eat them before they're done. But
My trick these days is you boil the potatoes first till they're just fork tender. Then you drain them. Then you put them back in what you boiled them in and keep it on the heat a little bit to evaporate the moisture on the outside, and then dump it into the pan with the onions and the oil into the cast iron, and then it's all crisp.
that sounds like a good technique.
That's my technique. It
I
does
like
work
that.
good.
I like that.
Unfortunately, we had breakfast for dinner on Mondays, and I did the home fries for that. So for the trout, we couldn't have the classic. That is the classic side, I feel like. We had cream limas and macaroni and cheese.
Wow.
Yeah, that's like
Living it up.
That's like Thanksgiving. Right now.
That's great.
Oh, that sounds great.
It was sweet. I had to text Mom to get her how she creamed her limas.
Yeah, I've never had that. I like lima.
Oh, they're
She doesn't. Catherine doesn't like lima beans, but likes my mom's creamed limas. She's like, I don't even know because I don't like lima beans, but that's delicious.
Well, my mom made great cream lima beans.
It's a whole thing. Just a little. Mom uses evaporated milk in the can, stirred in with a couple of tablespoons of flour and a little bit of sugar. Just dump that into your boiling lima beans. Give it a stir. Creams right up.
Wow.
Hard to go wrong. That sounds good to me.
Have you had any of Cable's
Yeah.
culinary treats?
Yeah, they're delicious.
I really want to get in on that.
All right. Yeah. Well,
But it's
I'm going to see her.
a
soon.
local lady has just started, and you love seeing things like this. But she's a chef. But what she's doing is she makes these meals ready to heat up, and then freezes them, I guess. But she makes large batches, and you just buy them on her website and go pick them up at her house. So she doesn't have to have a restaurant or a staff or any of that stuff. But she gets to do what she loves, cooking and feed the town. It was a hot tip for.
Well,
someone who
didn't I
doesn't like
give
to
you?
cook.
I gave you one of her pot pies.
Oh, you had a pot pie?
It's good.
Can you tell me
yeah,
about it?
It was really good. I didn't know it was so fancy though. I just
How big was it?
like a single serving thing.
But it was a
good.
big single serving.
Yeah.
Fills
I
you up.
actually
Oh,
got
yeah.
2 meals out of
Yeah.
mine.
I love a pot pie.
Yeah. I might have one over there for you. I've been getting some of her stuff and
That's cool.
all
Yeah.
good. Everything's been great.
Every time I
so
see
far.
your post on Facebook, I'm like, I gotta do that. I gotta
Yeah.
do that. That looks so good.
Now, since we're talking about food, we'll sneak this in real quick. This is
What
what
we got here?
this is what you have to try tonight.
Oh my goodness, what are we doing?
Lay's IHOP potato chips, Rudy Tooty fresh and fruity, strawberry topped breakfast pancakes with syrup and bacon.
Potato chip?
What?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my!
IHOP? Lay's IHOP?
Strawberry pancakes with syrup?
And bacon. And the weird, it doesn't taste right because it's in a potato chip form, but it tastes just like it.
Oh my goodness.
It's the weirdest
Oh,
thing.
here we go.
My God! I just can't believe it.
This is all kinds of wrong.
Lay's IHOP.
Oh my goodness.
Doesn't it taste like it?
Immediately.
It's
No,
the, it's the
stop
weird.
it.
It's the weirdest thing.
Stop it. It's like the Jetsons or something.
Isn't that crazy?
Is this in the store?
Yeah. Well, it was funny. I don't know where it is. I was at the store and it just somebody had left it. It was laying up there, and I just picked it up because I thought it was funny. Then I tasted it. Lex, you want to try it?
Oh yes.
I love how you pulled that out of a McDonald's bag.
Here, y'all talking about all this fine-made food. And I'm drinking a McDonald's bag with Rudy Tooty fresh and fruity Lay's.
I learned the other day that somebody looked through the statistics of all the
weird?
death row inmates. You know how you get to have a last meal when you get executed, or at least you used to be able to. 80% of them, at least at this one prison, 80% asked for a Big Mac.
Oh wow.
I mean, you think filet mignon, lobster, like that's where my mind immediately goes. But in reality, 80% of them asked for a Big Mac.
And they haven't had
There it is.
anything like that in years.
Right. Hmm.
Seconds, anyone?
That is
They're delicious.
I'm good.
very strangely satisfying. I
It
don't
was,
even
it
know
was
what I
a
think
very
of that.
strange experience.
Did you taste it?
Well, yes, but I didn't taste the. I mean, I had a taste, but I
The
really.
syrup and the pancake.
Yeah, the
is
syrup
like-
and pancake thing
I know.
right out of the gate. The more you chew on it, the less that is happening because you get so confused by the potato chip. Gosh, that is so
Isn't that weird?
But it's
Yeah.
a little like having potatoes with the breakfast that
All the home
that you're
fries,
eating
right?
too,
It's
you know?
all mixed in.
I mean, how do they get the pancake taste? The syrup taste, I understand, but how do they get the pancake taste?
Yeah, what is that? Oh, we got somebody chiming in with some, add a little baking soda to the water, apparently. Thank you, Bree1138.
For making what?
I guess the cream limas.
Oh, okay.
Walking Trout Farm in the house. The walking trout bones are easier to find. Aw. Cather says, I seem to remember Brits blanching them, then tossing flour, then frying them. We're talking potatoes, right? Not trout. Jay in the house. I popped out for a few. Did Nathan fix his piano stool? Last night, I'm not. I assume it. I don't know. Maybe I'm gaining weight. Maybe the piano stool is just old, but I almost died playing a song on piano last night.
Ooh.
That piano stool started making some very unsettling sounds as I was nearing the final chorus of the song, and I got a little bit more into it, and it was like, I was like, whoa! And then I stood up, and I looked back, and it was like leaning like this, and I pulled it up, and 3 of the 4 legs on the piano stool had pulled out of the bass. If that song had been any longer, I might not be here tonight.
Pay on over
It was
there
a
at the
real
piano.
close call. So I started working out again today. That was I got the memo.
All right, so I'm keeping track. So we got the trout, follow up, and you had another story you were going to tell. After,
Yeah, you had a short
after
one.
the
and
eye.
a
No,
longer
well, Bone is an idea for a show.
one. All right.
And we'd have to get this out of here and put in another chair
Okay.
and have a guest. And the guest I was thinking of, and it has a whole game to go with it, would be Gene Blackmer.
Oh, what's the game?
And you would be here, Gene would be here, and we'd be where we are.
We've
and,
talked about Gene before. You know Gene. You had him, right?
And
He was the physics teacher next door to Dad. Dad taught chemistry, and they shared a wall with Gene Blackmer. And Gene Blackmer taught me my first song ever on guitar, Eleanor Rigby.
well, the focus of this is was speaking with Gene today, and we was talking about how he's done this for years and years in many different ways of giving back to the community through his music. And he goes to nursing homes, and but he makes up shows, like he'll do one of like the early 60s love songs or
Themes.
themes of different types of years and types of music, or like musicals and things like that. And so he was talking to me about wanting to do one on early rock and roll and get me to help him figure out which would be the best songs in it.
Mm-hmm.
We were just talking about that. But I got this idea after I talked to him that it'd be great to have him here one night, and we could have like a little show, because I was thinking of when I could go with him to those shows, and I could do like a game show like we've done before, trivia show, and try to get the
Name
people
that tune, kind of.
exactly, or just trivia of that time, because he'll be playing the music of that age group that's my age group too. So I can make up these trivia questions, and he could come in. Of course, anytime you weren't doing anything or you weren't doing anything, we could all go together, and it's part of the thing I believe in terms of therapy of getting old, is that we get lonely, and if you can, do something to lessen that and still socialize a little bit, it's good for you. It's good for anybody. So I think that's a good way to do it. And Gene has been doing it for years.
That's for sure.
And
So what would the show here be?
well, it could just be talking about that. It'd just be another show, but he would be here, and y'all could do some songs, and we could take on a theme. That's my idea that bumped into my head that I wanted to share with you. So it can go anywhere or
We're
nowhere.
not supposed to do covers. copyright stuff on YouTube.
Well, when does something become public domain? What's that all about?
That's
Isn't there a rule about that?
I feel like that's a
It's a lot of years, I think.
mm-hmm.
How many?
A lot. I don't know.
Like,
like how,
I'd be interested. I'd like to
I've
know.
definitely done some research in that, but it's so confusing because you can sort of pass it on to your children, or there's not just a set number of years after it's been written, because it's sort of like how like Paul McCartney, like when Michael Jackson sold his catalog, or Paul McCartney, just someone buys their
Right.
catalog, and that's a reset of the standard number of years.
Tonight on Jabber John, songs from the 1870s.
All dirge night.
I do feel like it could be a whole nother side of Jabber John for us to start having guests at some point. Is a whole
that-
thing. I feel like we'd be good three people to pepper someone with questions about what they're up to.
It would be wonderful. I think we could. I think it would be good for the show. I bet if you got the right person sitting here, you could probably triple our viewing audience if their family's watching.
Absolutely, yeah, exactly.
We don't have to split our money with them, though, do we?
No.
Yeah. Now, yeah, finding somebody that'll come on the show with us, that might be.
No, that's the challenge. You might have to trick them.
Nathan serving
You
trout Thursday
win.
night. Come on over.
No, nobody will ever see it.
We got some really good chips. Our new sponsor.
It's the strangest green room of all time. Oh my God. Just to put those in a bowl
Okay, you
and
don't
without the
have- Oh, that'd
packaging
be
and sit back and
crazy.
watch, like
God, that's a
some
great
of
idea.
some of your chicken flavored candies. And
That'd be hilarious. Just put those in a bowl. People pick them up like.
that would be a great little hidden camera thing.
I bet you people would be like spitting. I mean, oh, that would be such a shot.
Next party, you should put some of
Oh,
those
my
in a bowl and
God.
take your phone and stick it on the shelf and just film people's reactions to eating those potato chips.
Oh my God, that would be.
Their faces would
hilarious.
be so worth it.
Yes, every guest on our show will have some food that they don't know what it is, just sitting there. Help yourself to a chip. Help yourself to a piece of candy. Yeah, it tastes like Kentucky Fried Chicken. Huh? This tastes like ass. What is it? Oh, God.
Oh, God.
And they get a beer that they don't know what it is, wrapped up in a koozie.
They probably have some weird flavored beers these days.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Lex keeps discovering these drinks I didn't know existed that are like already canned mixed drinks.
Oh, yeah.
You had like an old fashioned in an aluminum can the other night, didn't you?
That came in a bottle. That was
Oh.
fancy.
But it was pre-made, right?
Yeah, pre-mixed and just ready to pop the top and pour
Isn't
over
that
ice.
crazy?
Yeah. To make it easy.
I don't understand how they get away with selling that stuff in the grocery store, though. With the liquor store, but then you go, you can buy these pre-mixed.
I don't know how they do it either, because some of those canned drinks are like 14%
Yeah.
alcohol in one can.
Like those vodka tonics and stuff, yeah.
16. I think they're even higher too. Some of them, like the little pina coladas and stuff that you can get. I can't remember the brand, but yeah. Be careful out there, folks.
So
It's
tell us
getting
about
dangerous.
your mustache.
Well, I had, how much of this story should I give away? All right, so Stephanie likes me better with a clean face. I had a beard, not a beard, but I had some stubble for a while. And so I gave her the great honor of shaving me. And she left the mustache as a joke. And I was like, oh, come on, you can't be serious.
Now we're talking about shaving cream and a razor.
Yeah. So then the next morning, she was like, "Oh God, it actually looks pretty good." And I was like, "Okay." So I went to work, and I was totally embarrassed. I could barely look at anybody. I was like, "Hey, good morning," and then nobody said anything for like the whole day. And I was like, "Oh my God, if it was nice, they would say something. They're just being, terrible. They're just don't want to hurt my feelings." But then when I was leaving at the end of the day, 2 people stopped me and said, "Oh, I haven't had a chance to talk to you. I like your mustache." So then my confidence soared. I was like, "Yes."
You're landing deals, making the company
But
more money
the-
than usual.
The funniest thing. Oh my God! I don't know if you can see. I don't. You gotta see this text my friend sent me. Can you zoom in on my phone? So a friend of mine is going through a really hard time, and a really hard time. He doesn't laugh anymore, and it's upsetting to talk to him on the phone, to text him. But I think it was yesterday. He was in a good mood, and he was talking to me, and he was asking me how I was doing, and I told him, I said, "You wouldn't even recognize me now. I'm growing my hair, and I've got a mustache." And so he sent me this text that said, "Oh God, when did I just have it?" He sent me this text, and I was at work. I busted out laughing. He said, "Little did I know that I went to the." So I sent him this picture. Can you? I don't know how to do this. So I sent him this picture right here. How do I do this? Well, I sent him a picture of myself, and then he sent me a picture, and he said, "I didn't know I'd been hanging out with Abner Doubleday, the guy that invented baseball."
Oh my God, look at that. He invented baseball?
Yeah, so he sent me this picture of Abner Doubleday and said, "I didn't know I was friends with Abner Doubleday." And I just
Oh
busted.
my gosh. Just show that to the chat, please.
I just.
Get really close.
Even closer. Oh boy.
I don't even know where the thing is looking through. But I just busted out laughing. So now I call myself the 21st century Abner Doubleday. But I'm getting used to it, I think. It was sort of a slap hazard shave the first time, so it's not really even, I don't think. But once I get it tuned in, it might work a little bit better.
She cut you at all?
No, man, she did good. I was smooth. I need to touch it up a little bit.
You used to do a mustache from time to time.
I didn't like my mustache, period. I never kept it for very long. I did a goatee thing, and then I had to trim, that thing.
Wait, what was that thing?
Well, just the goatee extended with sideburns.
Sideburns.
Connecting.
Sideburns.
Now,
Have you ever done the
know-
shaving just the top lip? Sort of the Abe Lincoln or the Pete Cooper, that move.
No,
You never tried that?
no.
When you just have a mustache, how do you know how long it's supposed to be? I mean, I've had upper lip hair, but it's always the same length as whatever everything else was. How do you not look foolish with this shaved? Like, how long is this supposed to be?
Well, I think it's done well in the time it's had, but I know it's filled in good. A lot of mustaches, especially with your color hair, would take longer than yours, but
Right.
yours looks pretty stable right now already. That's good. But now you're just looking for it to fill in
Right,
and keep it trimmed and keep it out of your mouth. And
right.
keep it out of her mouth. If you can do it.
Catherine does not like me having a mustache at all.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Even that?
What do you mean?
I mean, she wants you to get rid of this and just have a beard?
No, if I just have a mustache.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's the same problem I have with the bushes out front. If you don't cut them back, they can brush over on you and the bug will get on you. But if you cut them back, then they poke out and they stick at you. So when you kiss somebody, they stick into you. So that's why mustaches are painful if they're either way.
It's interesting the Hollywood characters that are nothing without their mustache.
A lot of them back in the day.
Yeah. We'll go around the circle until someone can't name somebody that would be nothing without their mustache. Their mustache made them famous.
Tom Selleck.
Clark Gable.
Ah, his was.
He had that little thin one.
Oh yeah. Is that called a pencil thin mustache?
Oh yeah.
Wish I had a pencil thin mustache. Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
I guess you're Gunsmoke.
Burt Reynolds, he didn't have one in Navajo Joe.
No idea what you're talking about.
We just watched
Automatic
that.
disqualification.
We just watched that a couple
They didn't
nights
have
ago.
it.
We just watched that a couple nights ago. Like, why did they have Burt Reynolds playing an Indian in Navajo Joe?
Oh, he was an Indian in Gunsmoke, right? Or like his.
He was. That
like-
was one of his first roles, but he couldn't even.
I couldn't
he
believe
wasn't
that
even
was Burt
shaving.
Reynolds. I couldn't believe that was Burt Reynolds when I saw it
Yeah.
in the credits. I was like, oh my
But,
god.
No, I thought he'd get by on just his face, but I know he had a mustache.
He had a famous mustache.
Yeah, he had
Who
he had
else?
a solid mustache.
Frank Zappa.
Frank Zappa, good one.
Yeah,
Didn't Groucho Marx have a mustache?
yeah.
And Charlie Chaplin. He had the
Yeah.
Hitler mustache.
That's right.
Wilford Brimley.
I was trying to think of him. I can see his face, but I couldn't think of his name.
How about who's the guy with the voice? Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Sam Elliott. His mustache alone could get work.
Who else?
Well, the mustache and the voice.
Right. That voice is. Talk about syrup.
God, some people have those big, full, looks like a headboard type thing. Like they look like it would just you'd hit them in the face
Like the
and it
grill
wouldn't
of a
even hurt 'em.
Cadillac or something.
Oh my God, who else? Man, that is. Who had a
I don't
mustache?
know. I mean, be honest with you. When I looked at you the first time when I got to view there, I felt like you were maybe with the CIA.
He's not.
I've
Well,
taken.
I didn't think it both of you. That would be that would be like if I was with the CIA. That's the funniest thing I ever heard of.
Do you know about the baseball catcher back in the 50s or 60s that was a spy?
I had nothing to do with it. We were friends. We went to college together. Mo Berg.
Mo Berg, that is him.
Yeah, Mo and I. Well, we played a lot of ball together, but I had nothing to do with it.
I've got his
I wasn't
biography.
involved in any way. God damn it.
I've got his biography, but I
Whoops.
haven't read it yet. So what's his story?
You're
He was a
not going to get it out of me, I'll guarantee you.
Nathan's retired, man. It's completely safe.
Yeah,
God, I'm so glad
That
you
was
know
before
his
my
name,
time.
Mo Berg.
yeah.
Professional baseball
Yeah,
catcher.
a lot bigger men than you tried to get it out of me for a whole night.
God, I'm so,
So he really was?
yeah, I'm not proud of you, but I'm just amazed that you knew
I
what
read
his
the
name
book.
was. You did?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a Mo Berg story.
So
Yeah.
it was a true story?
Oh yeah,
So why was he
he
tapped
was a,
for that?
He was a spy.
What did he have access to, though?
That's a good question. He knew all the balls. He knew every pitch his pitchers were going to pitch every game.
Valuable information.
And evidently the Chinese were paying for that, and so he got in there.
No, but
I
it's a
don't know.
very
You
famous.
said you read the book.
Well, I don't know a lot of the books I've read anymore.
I just
I hear
read.
ya.
I just read this story about this guy. He was from like out in the Midwest somewhere, some little small town. He was like a pretty intelligent guy, but he did terrible in school, didn't pay attention and stuff. But he joined in when the draft came up for World War II, or maybe it was Vietnam. He what was the Hotel Hilton? What was that? Where they kept all the prisoners? Was
That was
The
that
Hanoi
was,
Hilton?
that? Yeah. So he was.
that was Vietnam.
Yeah, so he was on a boat. His mom said, "Join the Navy. You won't be out in the ground getting shot at and stuff." And somehow he fell off the boat. And these fishermen picked him up and turned him in, and he was put in this the Hotel Hilton. Oh, what is it called? Hanoi Hilton. Yeah. And he just pretended like he was real stupid the whole time. They thought he was a spy because he had fallen off the boat, and like that was who falls off a boat, you know. But so he just acted like he was ignorant the whole time. But he had a really good memory, so he'd remember all the prisoners' names that were in the thing that were in the prison with him. And then they wanted to use him as propaganda, so they would take him out like the places and film him and stuff. And he would by that he figured out where the Hanoi Hilton was. And then he got an early release. So when he came back, he had memorized, I think it was like 351 guys' names in the prison thing with him. And because of that, they were like listed as missing in action, you know, but now they were listed as prisoners of war because he memorized that. And like higher ranking guys that were there would tell him, you know, they would find out somebody's name, so you have to memorize these names, they would tell him. And he was like, just like a normal guy that somehow remembered all these names and helped so many families with their, you know, they thought their kids were dead or whatever, and they were actually being held captive. I thought that was pretty cool.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Is that a movie? Did they make a movie about it?
They've written a book about it. It would be a good movie, though.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still alive, lives in California now. His parents invested all of his, he was getting paid while he was being held captive. I guess the Army was still paying him, and they invested all of his money. So when he came back, he was able to go to California and buy some land and a house and stuff. Never played any professional baseball, I don't think, but Mo Berg, gosh, that is so good you knew that. Well, that's a book you read like in the last 20 years, like when you were a young man.
Probably in the 80s. Just a library book I picked up one day. Looked interesting.
Was he with the Cubs? I can't remember.
I don't think it was the Cubs, but I can't remember at all. But it's going back to what you were saying earlier. It was like, I don't think they talked a whole lot about the what all was involved, except you know.
But it is true.
Oh yeah, it was a real experience he went through, but I don't even remember what it was all about. But it was a spying thing. So.
Do you remember maybe who he was spying for?
He was spying for the United States.
Yeah, he was a good guy. He was
on. He was on our side. And I guess it was World War II era. I guess it was maybe pre-World War II.
Wow.
Mo Berg that was a long time ago.
Wow.
He played way before I was watching or keeping baseball cards or whatever.
Wonder if there were baseball cards when he played.
Oh yeah, there are Mo Berg.
So there's Mo Berg cards out there.
Yeah, they're worth more.
Christmas is right around the corner.
get those old Mo Berg cards, you had to turn them and try to read the secret writing on them and stuff.
Include a decoder ring.
These numbers, his statistics mean something. Let's figure this out.
Bigfoot is saying that you look mighty sharp tonight and is wondering if you have a date.
I do have a date tonight. I'm going to go watch football
You
with
called it.
Steve Moore over here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What game's tonight?
It's Thursday night. There's always a game, and they are usually not very good games, but
It's starting to get
remember.
interesting.
It's,
Getting well into the season here.
Well, I can't remember who's playing. I think it's a good game. San Francisco, I think, is the home team.
Niners, Rams.
What?
Rams.
Yeah,
Niners
Los
and
Angeles.
Rams.
That ought to be a fun game.
Yep.
Games
But
are
I get
starting
it.
to matter.
That's another thing I have to talk to you about is this prime thing, but I don't want to do that on the air.
Okay.
But it's on Prime.
And you have that.
And I have that. So I said if he wanted to come in and watch a little bit.
What can't you figure out?
It's just the paying. We had an issue with the credit card.
Got you.
So I need help with that.
Okay.
But that's not
Did you get Alexa working again?
Yep.
Oh, good.
I had something wasn't plugged in right.
That's good.
But she's back, and she's been very kind. She's been nice. I don't know. Some nights, though, she has an attitude. Or maybe I do. It's hard to figure.
All right. Well, is there anything on your mind out there at home? chime in here. We got a little bit of time left, and we come completely unprepared.
Well, wait a minute. That's not fair. I've been preparing for a whole week.
But you're out of stuff, right? Or you got
Well,
some?
hell no. Well, I got more shit than you can shake a
Well,
stick at.
Good.
Do either one? Where did the term corny come from?
Corny.
Like something being corny or corn. You're a cornball. Where did corny become?
I don't know. Corny is.
Corny.
I don't know why that would be a bad thing. It seems to have a negative connotation.
In a goofy sense.
Yeah, like that's
Yeah,
corny.
not a really bad thing, just not cool. Mm-hmm. Very corny.
And
I don't know, is that a term they would use in the city?
That's a good question.
I think that's more of a term you'd use as a country person saying another one was more country.
but it's also a term, like if somebody said, "Hey, I'm going to hang out with Nathan tonight," and somebody said, "Oh, he's a good guy, but he's a cornball." Is that?
Now,
would
that's
you think
a totally
like?
different thing.
Yeah,
different than
cornballs.
corny.
Well, it's related, I would imagine.
I think cornballs are always corny. Mm-hmm. You think about it. That's just the way it is.
So is it somebody that's always saying? I mean, what?
Well, I
nobody
don't
has
know.
any idea.
I think one of them comes
Somebody
from
help us.
One of them comes from the Greek and the other from the Italian. That's what I found out. That's exactly what I found out with homo. Did I ever tell you that story?
I don't think so.
Well, there you go. I got a story for you.
He was googling homos on his phone.
Hey. Now, you can make fun of things, but you should just use a little respect. Homo.
I was just being corny.
I'm not talking about what you just are alluding to. I'm talking about Homo sapiens. But the root word is interesting because I looked it up because I couldn't. When I grew up, I didn't know Latin or Greek, and so I was just making it up, and I would read that. So I didn't get it. But when you read Homo sapiens, what does it mean? Do you know, since you are one?
We already talked. We talked about it.
Did I? Oh, did
On
I?
the show?
No, we had a ride home. Like 2
Oh,
weeks ago.
that's right. Last week I was.
So I don't want to give away. The,
Okay, Homo sapiens.
Right.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Or ask audience. Or-
Anybody?
And while you're thinking, one of our lovely guests right in that Mo Berg spied on the Germans.
Oh, interesting.
What?
He spied on the Germans.
Saul guesses humans.
That's what I guessed too.
Homo
There's
sapiens.
2 words, right?
Right. I'm asking what homo means. And I'm curious to know what sapiens means. Do you know either one? Well, that means you're probably not one.
That means you're
Has
officially
anybody said what they both mean?
Human being.
Sapiens means of a species, I would guess, of the human species.
No.
Human species.
All right. So Homo sapiens means.
So we got somebody saying it means human being.
Means human.
And a species
They
is
both
a being.
together mean that?
Yeah, human being. I'm getting confused here. I've confused myself.
Tell us, Mo, what did you
Now,
learn? Oh,
what
I'm so
does-
confused.
All right, wait a minute. Homo,
Kether's asking Latin or Greek.
well, ask her. I know what it means, ask her if she can help me here.
Somebody wrote in it means the same as the primates. So it's like the human form of a primate. Is that what it is?
ChatGPT knows.
Uh-oh.
What is it?
He found the answer on the Chat GPT.
Well, go ahead and tell us. I've got it confused, and I don't want to say the wrong thing.
The
Can you
term The term Homo sapiens is Latin and translates to wise man or thinking man.
Thinking,
Wow.
yes, okay.
Homo equals man, and sapiens equals wise. Latin.
So
Interesting.
wise man.
This is Latin.
Whoa.
So homo means man. So, but when you say homosexual, what does homo mean?
Man.
Man.
Well, that's not what I learned. I guess people think that. I thought it meant the same.
Same. Right.
The same sex. So a homosexual likes the same sex. So I was confused in my head about what homo means, just like I did again, because you had two different meanings. You had a Greek root for Homo sapiens, or I don't know, is it the Latin? You had the Latin for Homo sapiens, and then you had the Greek for homosexual. And ask Kethra if I'm right. Is that what it says?
I would have imagined that for a long time people thought of homosexuals only in terms of men.
Well, I don't know. They might have had a special word for it, but that I think
Like it's still
but I think if you look up the definition of homosexual, it means the same sex. It doesn't
Right.
mean sex with a man.
But I wonder if that's a modern definition.
Well, it becomes Latin and Greek again. It
Well,
was
Latin would be man sex.
What does homogeneous
Right.
mean?
So then that
Oh, homogeneous.
What's that mean? What's homogeneous mean?
That means the same.
means the same. It does.
So that's from the Greek or that's from the Latin? That's
Well, that's from the one that means the same. I don't know. I don't know which one's Latin and which one's Greek because I didn't take the class.
We need to phone a friend, call Daniel. up,
Daniel
get-
or Kethra or
Percy.
Kethra says, in Greek it means the same. In Latin it means human.
so
Exactly.
homogeneous is Latin.
exactly.
Interesting. Okay, so I
Yeah.
see where we're going.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Bigfoot wants to know, what about homoerotic? I don't even know what that means.
That's the
It does ring a
that-
bell.
That would be. I don't know. The same.
Same
But
again.
I'm not.
Yeah, it's
I'm
got to
not
be the
sh-
same. You couldn't just say you're turned on by humans.
Were Neanderthals Homo sapiens?
They were. If they were, it was they were a subspecies. But I don't think they were the same species. The same genus, but not the same species.
As what? Us?
To us,
Okay.
to modern human. But that would be how the genetic class, how close we were. But they say that like chimpanzees are like 98% exactly replica. So it doesn't take much to make you a different thing.
Fascinating.
I just learned a lot of stuff listening to a Gene Autry Christmas album 2 nights ago.
You learned a lot of stuff?
He sings his little song. He sings his Christmas songs, but then he talks in between each song.
Yeah.
And one of them, he's like, Jesus. He never went to college. He never traveled more than 200 miles from where he was born, and all this stuff. And I was like, who went to college back in those days? Is that a mark against him? Jesus never went to college. Like,
Why should we listen to you?
He never traveled more than 200 miles was like an infinity back then. He never had a family of his own, but we follow his word. I was like, man, tell it, Gene Autry. I'm learning a lot here. I'm going to bring that up at a town hall meeting. Jesus never went to college.
Gene Autry Christmas album. Is that a tradition in your house?
It's actually pretty good. I like his singing voice, that country style, that Western style. I had forgotten how it had like every little bits of knowledge between songs. That part's not so good.
Does he have a full band with him and stuff? Is it like a live radio performance or something?
Yeah, and a lot of it is not him even singing. He'll tell a story, and like some kids will sing a song or something.
Maybe we should all go see the Bob Dylan movie together.
Oh,
when
I'd
it
like
comes
to
out.
do. I think that's a good idea.
That'll be our next Jabberjohn movie review. We'll
I'd
go the
also like
Wednesday
to-
night before.
I'd also like to have a Jabberjohn activity at my home during the holidays. So
That'd be nice.
I think we can have a little get together and invite anybody, local Jabberjohners, to join us.
What's a Jabberjohner?
People that watch the show more than 1.5 times.
I think there's people out there that are Jabberjohners and don't even know it.
I think they call themselves
Well-
Homo Johns.
What was it?
Homo Johns.
Mike Bullock in the chat.
There you go.
Neanderthal had larger brains than Homo sapiens. Do you think they were further evolved than Homo sapiens? Sorry if it's too off topic. Nothing's too off topic.
Wait a
on
minute,
Jabberjohn.
aren't we Homo sapiens?
Yes.
And cavemen had bigger brains than we do?
Neanderthals had larger brains than Homo sapiens.
No. Is that
Well,
true?
so do elephants.
Right. Size isn't everything.
No, it's that, I've been telling people that for years.
Whales must have big brains, right?
Well, they do. You know, I was watching one the other night, and I just
A
realized.
whale?
Yeah. I get they're on TV a lot. They sell something, I don't know. It's better than that damn duck.
Get your whale
Not to
shirt.
mention that lizard. But yeah, I can put up with them. But yeah.
What did you learn from watching the whales?
Oh, that as the whale was going through the water, I realized that he was a narcissist and considered himself God. And he really wasn't that far off. Yeah. He runs that show. Until he hits torpedo or
You mean
something.
he's
like
just like, out of my way, out of my
Well,
way?
he's just at peace. He's running the show. He's just there.
No threat. There's no threats.
There's no threat, and he's at peace with himself because he's not out to hurt anybody. You can see it in their eyes. They just don't. I mean, you get a bad one now and then, but most whales are gods in their own world.
Such an amazing part of human history there for that stretch of time when whales were the main source of our fuel, whale blubber and stuff. So many towns were formed around that industry, and what a just fascinating thing that is.
Oh, it was a whole other culture, wasn't it? Remarkable.
It is mind blowing.
Yeah.
But just all that's involved in all that. Like, there must have been one that washed up on a beach somewhere, and then someone cut into it, tried to eat it, and then somehow discovered you could burn, but that their fat was combustible, and you could power a lamp with it, and then entire civilizations and towns were built around catching whales and harvesting the oil from them. It's so weird.
Yeah.
I read something online that said the person that discovered cow milk must have done a lot of other weird shit too. Let's see what this tastes like.
I feel like we've talked about this before, but it's always been so surreal to me how, like, I guess they evolved that way over time, but still to a certain extent, like farm animals as apart from nature.
Right.
Like a cow, like it's got the udders there. Like, of course you're going to get your milk from, I mean, it's, and the little sheep and the pig and the chicken, they're all like farm animals. Just completely different than the wild variety of this.
But that's just all that is just breeding.
But in that it's fascinating how they all over time became this more benevolent appearing, more pleasing to the, like, aesthetically. Their domestication made them sweeter to look at, more docile in every way. Like it would be counterintuitive that domestication and breeding over time would make them more scary looking or more ugly. They got sweeter looking, and I don't know, it's just so fascinating. They all are just, you can just picture them as cartoons, completely separate from nature.
That's weird. I never even thought about this. Is there any animal that you would see in the wood? Like, say you were walking through the woods and saw an animal. Is there any animal that you would think, I don't know if it belongs here or at home? Like, if you saw a dog, you'd say, oh, it's lost. It has to go home. If you saw a cow, you would say, oh, it's lost. And is there any animal you'd be like, maybe it lives out here, maybe it doesn't? It's like your brain, like what you said, we've separated animals into wild deer and foxes and whatever are here. I can't think of any.
Goats.
Yeah,
So if you saw a goat,
could be wild.
yeah, I think I would still think it had got away from a farm.
I guess it depends on where you are.
Yeah.
Because those mountain goats are a whole thing.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Like, I would never see a bear and think, oh, somebody's lost their bear.
There's wild horses
Call it over here.
out there.
Wild horses.
Yeah. But you never see a wild horse.
I have on the Eastern Shore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's that island, or have you ever been? Is that what?
Chincoteague.
Yeah, what's that? You know about that Chincoteague?
The Eastern Shore.
You never read Misty when you were growing up? The horse that swam?
Now, what are we talking
Y'all
about?
never
The
read Misty?
ponies at
Oh, my
Chincoteague
God.
and what else?
Yeah, I don't know either.
What's the Chincoteague story?
It's just an area in on the Eastern
It's a cool
Shore
place to go
where
to.
there's
Is that
like,
Virginia?
Yep.
And they have wild horses.
Yeah.
And once or twice
And there's
a
like a
year they
migrate.
swim.
Right, that's
yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the part of the story I want to
And it's,
understand.
you know, it's real marshy there and stuff. It's not just like a sandy beach coastline on the Eastern Shore. It gets very wetlands, very marshy, and so there's all these little, you know, kind of shallow, but you know, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 feet deep of water here and there, in between pieces of land. So you know, they're crossing over that kind of stuff, and you see them swim.
It's still like
I haven't seen them swim. I
like
just
even
saw
if
'em
you
walk,
saw a
like,
horse in
standing
the
around.
wild, like it's still remarkable that, you know, the animals that humans have a deep relationship with, like horses, dogs, cows, whatever, they really stick out in nature as completely
Out of place.
yeah, like they, it almost does feel like there are certain animals that were destined to have this relationship
Right.
with humans, and you could almost tell it by looking at them. Although,
Well, I just think you're not looking at the biology right.
Well,
It's all about genetic breeding. And the thing I'm going to just suggest to you to think about for a minute is the dog breeds.
that is the thing I keep thinking about.
Well, if you think about that and apply that, all people are doing is having lots of dogs and picking out the ones that look a certain way, and they're getting a pedigree out of it. They're getting those genetics down to a certain product that they want, and they call that a pedigree, and then they can ship that out. Or they can blend it, but others are keep blending to try to get something new that's even nicer. But every time you get a dog that snarls, you know, as part of its behavior pattern, he doesn't go out.
right,
What gets the next time you have puppies, you get the ones that were cute and sweet and cuddly, and that's that
and
selective.
it happens quick.
That's the interesting thing. That's why I say about the dogs. You know, it happens pretty quickly because you got some of these breeds are only 300 years old. Well, in terms of geologic time, 300 years is a millisecond.
Right,
So,
it's a blink.
you know, it's a blink.
It is so.
So, you know, you ought to be able to see how it happens, but it's just the way we're getting what we want. I mean, the dog thing I thought was amazing. Where I was watching that, I've talked about this before, where they're just they can show you the mutation of the lack of a part of this gene that makes the difference between a wolf and a dog. and it's the aggression. They just take the aggression out of them, and you know, you could do that, and we did it, and kept the ones that were nice, and the wolves survived because they were not going to be nice and they didn't care. But they're running out of room, you know.
It is. I mean, as soon as you say that, you know, Chihuahua comes from a wolf, just like a poodle does. You're just
Same thing.
yeah,
It's
like,
hard to
okay.
imagine.
Horses, though, look pretty much the same in the wild as they do.
Well, wait a minute. Back up. The horses that you see in the Midwest, those wild horses, none of them came from original horses that lived in North America. They were all brought over by the Spanish in the 1400s.
Oh, they just are
They're just
domesticated lineage.
They're
that got
runaways.
loose.
They're runaway Spanish horses.
Is that true with the ones in Chicotee?
I
Or
don't think so, but I'm not.
Well, they came from somewhere. I mean, they're not native to there. They
Well,
might
supposedly-
have come over in 1607 with a shipper and and they escaped. So they survived a long time being wild.
Yeah.
So they are wild horses, no doubt.
From our viewers, there's a lot of wild horses in Nevada and northern New Mexico.
Yeah.
ah,
And we have a viewer that knows knows Misty. You know good literature.
is that just a book? Was it ever a movie or anything?
Oh, they probably did. Man, when I was a kid, I would read Misty. That was one of the books I read every single year. It was one of my.
The movie, yeah, it's a great song,
Oh wow. Playing
Oh,
Mis-
really?
right? Barry Manilow or something. Right?
Wow.
Good thing about Clint Eastwood playing Misty for me.
We did it again, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in out there. Time for a leaving song.
And also, remember there was much more camels in the Wild West than y'all know.
Oh, right. We got to make that movie. Golly. One more time, one more time, one more time, old friend. One more time, I was just getting it at the end. One more time, one more time, one more time, old friend. One more time, I was just getting it at the end. Never heard that one. Where'd you find that one? What were you thinking? What were you on? Where'd that come from? What were you drinking? Well, that's my new favorite song. One more time, one more time, one more time, old friend. One more time, I was just getting it at the end. Come on, one more time, old friend. One more time, I was just getting it at the end. Well, that one's squirrely. What was that one chord? Was it me or did it seem like a circle in time? I kept coming in early. Where's the one, Lord, who inspired you on that line? One more time, one more time, one more time, old friend. One more time, I was just getting it at the end. One more time, one more time, one more time, old friend. One more time, I was just getting it at the end. Okay, I think I got it. Let's take it from the top. There's a harmony I want to try. Hey, how about next time we don't even stop? I can play this song till I die. One more time, one more time, one more time, old friend. One more time, I was just getting it at the end. Come on, one more time, one more time, one more time, old friend. One more time, I was just getting it at the end. And I was just getting it at the end.
Come on, one more time. One more time.
One more time, one more time, one more time, my friend. One more time, I was just getting it at the end. One more time, my friend. One more more time, one more time. I was just getting it at the end.
Oh man!
Nice.
All right, we almost got it.
We
Let's
almost
go
got it.
one more
Yeah, let's
time.
go one more
That's
time.
the
One- just one more.
You go high on the end there.
I went a little low, didn't I?
That's the best funeral song yet.
There's a dirge for you.
That's good.
See you
old-
next time. Thank you so
You had-
much.
You
Love
had to
y'all.
be a
Be
Homo
good.
sapiens to appreciate that.
That's right. What's the opposite of a Homo sapien?
I didn't say it.
What's semi mean?
Half.
Half.
So what if you're semi-sapien? Like a half human?
Half wise.
I'm a semi-sapien. I've always pacified myself as a semi-sapien.
Takes the pressure off, doesn't it?